Hi all, in this video we are going to discuss past continuous tense. Here you can see a timeline, past, present and future. In the past you can see two lines. In between the two lines there are red dots. That red dots show an action. That action started in the past and continued till a later point of time. So past continuous is an action that started in the past and continued or progressed till a later point of time when another action took place. We can see the definition of past continuous tense. Past continuous is otherwise known as past progressive. The past continuous, also called past progressive, denotes an action continued in the past or progressed or an unfinished action. The action started in the past and continued till a later point of time. The past continuous used to say what was happening or not happening. Not happening means that negative sentences, negative actions around, in bracket, before, at and perhaps a past time. The past continuous is used to express an action that was in progress or continuing when another action took place. And we can see all of the uses of past continuous at the end of this video. Here in Malayalam we can say കഴിഞ്ഞ കാലത്ത് തുടർന്നുകൊണ്ടിരുന്ന ഒരു പ്രവൃത്തിയെ സൂചിപ്പിക്കാനാണ് നമ്മൾ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. We have learnt that the use of was and were. The use of was and were in sentences are known as past continuous tense. He was writing, they were walking, I was driving the car. Likewise, so was and were is the use of past continuous tense. We can understand through some examples here. See the examples. I was writing, ഞാൻ എഴുതിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു. He was reading, അവൻ വായിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു. They were playing, അവർ കളിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു. James and Ramesh were planning a tour. ജെയിംസും രമേഷും ഒരു ടൂർ പ്ലാൻ ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു. സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് were painting the college. വിദ്യാർത്ഥികൾ കോളേജ് പെയിന്റ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു. ജോൺ was sleeping in his room. ജോൺ അവൻ്റെ മുറിയിൽ ഉറങ്ങിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു. In these sentences you can see there എഴുതിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു, വായിച്ചു കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു, കളിച്ചു കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു എന്നിങ്ങനെ കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു എന്നുള്ള പ്രയോഗത്തിനെയാണ് പാസ്റ്റ് കണ്ടിന്യൂസ് ടെൻസ് എന്ന് നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നത്. You have to note the use of was and were in the sentences. The form of the past continuous tense is that was or were plus V1 plus ing form. That means verb ing form used along with was and were. We can see that past forms of be or past of be forms are used in past continuous tense. Past of be forms are was and were. Be forms of present are am, is, are. Am, is, are used in present continuous tense, but past forms of be are used in past continuous tense. You can see here be forms of present are am, is, are. Be forms of past are was and were. We use was and were in past continuous tense. We can see was is used along with I, he, she, it, the boy, Ramesh, etc. That means third person singular and I. And were is used along with all of the plural subjects in English. We, you, they, girls, Ramesh and Shaji, plus were plus V1 plus ing. We can see the time words or some key words that are used along with past continuous tense. When, while, then. That means that അപ്പോൾ, വന്നപ്പോൾ, പോയപ്പോൾ, എഴുതിയപ്പോൾ എന്നൊക്കെയുള്ള മീനിങ് ആണ് അവിടെ കിട്ടുക. Plus along with yesterday, that means one action will be simple past and the other action will be in past continuous tense. An action was progressing when another action happened. That means an action was progressing will be expressed in past continuous. The another action will be expressed in simple present. Unfinished ongoing action in the past plus finished action. Finished action will be expressed in simple past. Unfinished or ongoing action will be expressed in past continuous tense. You please watch and listen very carefully and understand the usage of past continuous through the given examples. See the next slide. The boys were writing notes. He was reading. I was playing. They were building a bridge. We weren't working. Here in the timeline, you can see past, present and future. In the dot lines, that means the dot red color in between two lines in the past shows the unfinished action that started in the past and continued till a later point of time. That means in between the two lines, that action was continuing, that action was progressing. So that action will be expressed in past continuous, where you can see ഞാൻ കളിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു, അവൻ വായിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു. That means the action was continuing or progressing in the past till a later point of time. See the example here. When he came yesterday, I was reading. The background action is I was reading. When he came yesterday was an action, another action that took place when I was reading there. So when he came yesterday, I was reading a novel. When he came yesterday is used in simple past. I was reading a novel is a past action, past continuous action. When I was reading a novel, he came yesterday. ഇതിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം നമ്മൾ പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അവൻ ഇന്നലെ വന്നപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ വായിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു. The same sentence can be written in another way. When I was reading a novel, he came yesterday. ഞാൻ ഇന്നലെ വായിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നപ്പോൾ അവൻ വന്നു. അവൻ ഇന്നലെ വന്നപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ വായിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു. He came yesterday when I was reading a novel. That part of clause can be given in the beginning or at the end of the sentence. The same sentence be written in these two ways. When I was reading a novel, he came yesterday. He came yesterday when I was reading a novel. Which is the background action? The background action is I was reading there. The other action occurred, that is he came. So when is used along with there, and yesterday is also used. Yesterday is the time word for simple past tense. So അവൻ ഇന്നലെ വന്നപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ വായിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു. If we mention a finished action that interrupted the continuous action in the past, we have to use past continuous tense. See these examples. Jack was reading a book, past continuous. The phone rang, it is a simple past. He stopped reading, that means Jack stopped reading when the phone rang. Then he answered the phone. What happened? We can analyze the sentence. What happened? The phone rang, that is simple past. Okay. Then what was Jack doing when the phone rang? Jack was reading a book, that is in past continuous. What did he do when the phone rang? He stopped reading and answered the phone. That both are simple past. So that action we can say when the phone rang, Jack was reading a book. Phone belladinyapol ജാക്ക് ഒരു പുസ്തകം വായിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു. If we mention a finished action that interrupted the continuous action in the past, we can see more examples here and you understand it. While Jiva was dash sleep in bracket in her room yesterday, her brother dash watched TV. What was happening in the background? That means Jiva was sleeping there. So another action that took place was her brother watched TV. While Jiva was sleeping in her room yesterday, her brother watched TV. While her brother watched TV yesterday, Jiva was sleeping in her room. That can be expressed in that way also. Then see the next example. Jenny fell asleep while she was reading. It was raining when he went out. When he went out, it was raining. അവൻ പുറത്തു പോയപ്പോൾ മഴ പെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയായിരുന്നു. Jenny fell asleep while she was reading. ജെന്നി വായിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയായിരുന്നപ്പോൾ ഉറക്കത്തിലേക്ക് വീണു. Likewise, we can see more examples. While I was dash walk down the street, it dash begin to rain. That can be expressed. While I was walking down the street, ഞാൻ സ്ട്രീറ്റിലൂടെ നടന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നപ്പോൾ it began to rain. മഴ പെയ്യാൻ തുടങ്ങി. മഴ പെയ്യാൻ തുടങ്ങി എന്നുള്ള ആക്ഷൻ സിമ്പിൾ പാസ്റ്റിലും ഞാൻ നടന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു എന്നുള്ളത് പാസ്റ്റ് കണ്ടിന്യൂസിലേക്കും മാറ്റിയിരിക്കുന്നു. Then that can be also expressed like this. It began to rain while I was walking down the street. Both sentences are correct. Then you were dash learn in bracket English when the telephone dash ring. You were learning English when the telephone rang. That is used in telephone. Rang is used in simple past. You were learning English is used in past continuous action. They were not dash watch television last week when we dash arrived in their house. That is a negative sentence. They were not watching television last week when we arrived in their house. They were not watching television last week when we arrived in their house. When we arrived in their house, they were not watching television last week is also correct. Then we can see some of the uses of past continuous tense. Use 1. It is used to set the scene to give an idea of the background situation. That means background action or background situation. What is happening there or what was happening there in the background. An action that was in progress. The past continuous is used to express an action that was in progress or continuing when another action took place. Then example, I was studying grammar while the telephone rang. The background action is I was studying grammar, and while the phone rang is another action that is took place the same time that expressed in simple past. In this sentence, there were two actions. I was studying and the telephone rang. Both actions occurred at the same time, but one action began earlier and was in progress when another action occurred. The another action is the telephone rang, and the action that was in progress was I was studying. That means when the phone rang, I stopped studying and attended the telephone. See some more examples. When I arrived in the party, everyone was dancing. He was talking about her when she came into the room. അവൾ റൂമിലേക്ക് വന്നപ്പോൾ അവൻ അവളെക്കുറിച്ച് സംസാരിച്ചു കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു. He was talking is the background action. The another action took place is she came. The second use of past continuous tense is to express two actions continuing simultaneously. Simultaneously means same time there were two actions progressing or continuing in the past. Example, while I was studying last week, she was playing. ഞാൻ പഠിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നപ്പോൾ അവൾ കളിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു. The boy was laughing while I was teaching yesterday. I was preparing teaching notes while my little daughter was playing. When I was driving the car, it was raining. ഞാൻ കാർ ഡ്രൈവ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നപ്പോൾ മഴ പെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു. Both actions were continuing or progressing at the same time. When it was raining, I was driving the car. That sentence can be expressed in such a way also. So this is expressed also to use to show two actions they were continuing simultaneously at the same time in the past. We can see the third use of past continuous is to express a repeated action. The workers were clamoring for higher wages. The teacher became angry as the students were repeating the same mistake. Here the repeated action is shown in past continuous tense. Were repeating the same mistake. The workers were clamoring for higher wages. And it is a repeated action occasionally, so that is shown in past continuous tense. These are some uses of past continuous tense so far we discussed. Then we can do some practices here. You have to change into negative sentence these past continuous tenses. When the principal dash come yesterday, the boys were dash playing in the class. Then when we change into past continuous, when the principal came yesterday, that is expressed in simple past, the boys were playing in the class. That means that is expressed in past continuous. The boys were playing in the class is an action that is a background action or a setting the scene. What was happening there? The another action that took place is principal came. That is expressed in simple past. When the principal came yesterday, the boys were not playing in the class. Principal ഇന്നലെ ക്ലാസ്സിലേക്ക് വന്നപ്പോൾ വിദ്യാർത്ഥികൾ കളിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നില്ല. Negative sentence. When the principal didn't come yesterday, the boys were playing in the class. Principal ഇന്നലെ ക്ലാസ്സിലേക്ക് വരാതിരുന്നപ്പോൾ വിദ്യാർത്ഥികൾ കളിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു. Likewise, so we can use negative in both actions that we have to change accordingly. Use not to along with the auxiliary. Then we can do some questions. When the principal dash come yesterday, the same sentence, the boys were playing in the class. How to change this sentence into a question? That the correct past continuous form is when the principal came yesterday, the boys were playing in the class. Were the boys playing in the class when the principal came yesterday? Either like this, or did the principal come yesterday when the boys were playing in the class? In the first question, principal ഇന്നലെ ക്ലാസ്സിലേക്ക് വന്നപ്പോൾ വിദ്യാർത്ഥികൾ കളിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നു. രണ്ടാമത്തേത് വിദ്യാർത്ഥികൾ ക്ലാസ്സിൽ കളിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ആയിരുന്നപ്പോൾ പ്രിൻസിപ്പൽ ഇന്നലെ വന്നോ എന്നുള്ള രീതിയിലാണ് ഈ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം ഉണ്ടാവുക. You have to practice a lot of sentences like this, and you make your own sentences and change into past continuous action and both simple past action. Thank you for watching this video.